So these are the 5-ish factors you need to consider when choosing the style of video you're going to create. Let's jump in. Hello, I'm Cameron King. I create videos for a living. I'm a filmmaker, producer, studio owner, and YouTube speaker extraordinaire with my sub 100 subscribers. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things you need to consider when choosing the style of your video. What I mean by style, I mean, the genre or how it feels or how it's going to feel or what is the best way to tell the story we want to tell for whatever it is we're trying to make. So, whether that's animation, whether it's a documentary style, or if it's, a combination of the two, or if it's like a commercial piece, a narrative piece, or something a little more organic like this, we really need to factor in a few things to decide what vehicle or what mode of video transportation, so to speak, we're going to take. So let's jump in. So the first one's going to be a culmination of things. It's going to be, sort of some questions that we ask in a preliminary phase of the process. So who is your audience? What is the branding or the brand voice of whatever it is you're making? And what is the messaging? So these are really the 3 things that are the heart of the matter. And I have other videos that talk about this, but based on what we decided who our audience is, who we, what our product is or what the brand is or organization is, what their voice is, all that stuff, and what the key messaging is, that will help us decide how we're going to deliver this thing. So for instance, if the audience is, let's say, Black females, the brand is a clothing brand, and the message is we create clothing for a different kind of woman or whatever that is. I'm making all this stuff off the top of my head. That's going to dictate how we're actually going to shoot this thing. Now I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, this can be a high art, photography type shoot. It can be something a little more editorial. It could also be a couple of, ladies sitting on a couch talking about their clothing, if we want to do a little more organic style. So really knowing those things, audience, branding, and messaging will help you decide on how to deliver the style of video in which you're going to deliver. Another thing would be your ability, right? You're not going to go and create an animation if you don't know how to animate, right? So you want to stick in your lane, so to speak. So think about your abilities, how you can accomplish these goals, given the resources that you have at hand. Now, that's not to say you want to not stretch yourself and try something a little different just to give yourself, a push, but really think about your ability and how that plays a factor into what you're going to deliver and, delivering something that's going to be exceptional. Next up is going to be your bandwidth. Bandwidth is really exactly what it is. It is like the time you have. If a client comes to you or a leadership comes to you on a Monday and they need a video by Friday, well, that's going to be a totally different video than if you had a month to do this thing, right? So if I needed something due by Friday, it might be that talking head video, 2 ladies on a couch, just talking about clothing or whatever, because you can shoot and edit, you can write, shoot, and edit that within, a 5-day period. So, really think about your bandwidth and what you can execute within the time frame that you're given. Next up is going to be budget. Those last 3 things, are really, kind of go together: ability, bandwidth, and budget. So I could have probably clumped that together and this could have been just 3 points. Well, anyway, so if you do, all of a sudden you get a client and they're like, hey, could you make this video for me? And we want it to be an animation, or it needs, or let's just say an animation is the best way to deliver this thing, and the client has the money to do so. Well, you can go out and hire an expert now to help you execute it. All you have to do is run point, which is great because that saves you more time to go and do other things to make more money. Anyway, besides the point, you can delegate this task to someone else if you have the money to do so. So budget is a big factor when it comes to delivering the type of video that you want to deliver. Next up is just go with your gut, right? You know something's going to feel right. When I had that example earlier about the clothing line, I just kind of go with my gut that it was probably going to be an editorial piece because that's what we're kind of used to seeing when it comes to clothing lines and stuff like that, is these these nice editorial photo backdrops, not solid color, good lighting, wind blowing the clothing, all that stuff. It makes it feel like a runway, so to speak. That's what I think of right off the bat. It might not be the best idea, but that's kind of where I go to. So really, just you want to go with your gut. Obviously, don't go with the terrible ideas, but make sure your gut aligns with everything else that we talked about, and just go with that. So really, that was probably 3 things. I could have lumped a few of those things together as I was talking about. So the first one, let's do that now. So the first one would be, what is your audience branding and messaging? Really hone in on those things, and that will help dictate things. The next up is going to be your ability, your bandwidth, and your budget. The ABB. That's what I'm going to call this. Your ability, your bandwidth, and your budget. So really, taking into factor what your skill set is, taking into factor how much time you have, taking into factor how much money you have to fulfill this thing. So those, you really have the creative fighting the practical here in this situation. And next up is your gut. You're the creative, you're the professional. You really need to go with your gut on these things, because that's why your client or your leadership hired you to do the things that you do, because you're good at it. So go with your gut, go with your instincts, go with what works, and really just drive it home after that. So I hope this helps you decide. I hope this helps you in some way, at least get some insight on how I choose the style of my videos that I run with. And, especially when it comes to certain things, like if I know I need to deliver something on Friday, it's probably going to be a run and gun shoot, one person band, because I don't have time to go out and do things, and I just need to go out and shoot this thing and have it done by Friday, that sort of thing. That's probably a terrible example, but you get what I'm saying. So if you found this valuable, please share with one other person. Please like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. That makes me do jazz hands. So have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.